Sawadee Ka, and welcome to the Bureau Asia podcast. I'm Matt Cowan, the Bureau Chief and your host. Thank you for listening in. Last episode, we got lost down the tunnel of love when we went on a mission to find out what makes Vietnamese women tick in the bedroom and other lovey-dovey stuff. Of course, it was the love episode, and I'm pretty certain for you, my discerning listener, it brought back memories both fond and not so fond that you've had on the dating scene, or should I call it circuit, here in Vietnam. I've got to say the episode got quite a bit of feedback, and when I ran into some of the Bureau Asia podcast loyal listeners around town after it was aired a couple of weeks ago, they were pretty eager, I've got to say, to let me in on some of their own sexual exploits and experiences while dating in Vietnam, along with what they thought the typical stereotype of a Vietnamese woman in bed is. They all disagreed, by the way, with the stereotype given by our friend Stella, who features in that episode. Of course, the stories my friends shared are just for me. I'll take them to my grave, I promise, along with the names of the people who told me. So don't even think you're going to squeeze them out of me if you see me around town half a dozen beers in. Although, who knows? Buy me a couple of beers and I may just tell all. But be prepared to blush. Some of them are pretty raunchy. Anyway, I love people coming up to me anytime and chatting about the potty. So if you happen to see me, come and say hi and break the ice with a comment about the latest episode. I get a kick out of seeing others getting a kick out of it. By the way, if you haven't listened to the love episode, give it a listen after this and let me know what you think on the Bureau Asia's social media channels at the Bureau Asia. Now, to this episode. We talk Thailand ka. That's right, the land of smiles. We popped over there just the other week for a few days, so we're going to break down our experience travelling there and what it's like for a short break. After that, we're going to go for some cheap vanity metrics in an effort to boost our ratings when we slag off at bagpackers, backpackers, travel YouTubers, and social media travellers to Vietnam. So be sure to stick around for that. Joining me in the Slag Fest, as has become somewhat usual these days after we agreed once to never, ever work with each other again, it's the Bureau Asia's content manager and flash packer, Melanie Kasul. How are you, Mel?
Hey, I'm good. Well, I'm looking forward to this weekend where I get to spend time with you.
Oh, righto.
Working.
Yeah.
Or, wait, are we? I thought we were semi-retired or just taking a break from meeting fans on our worldwide tour.
Well, you actually did ask me once if we were retired.
Semi-retired.
I think you said, hey, out of the blue one day, you said, Matt, are we semi-retired? My weeks actually turned out pretty full, and I managed to slip a head cold in, a man flu along the way that had me feeling cranky for most of the week, in case you didn't notice, Mel.
How's your head?
Oh, how's it look?
It's pretty good.
All right. Yeah, so...
No, I did notice, that's why I refused the offer to work from home from my boss, to give you time to enjoy your sickness by yourself.
You're so nice. You're so thoughtful. Anyway, things started on the Friday last week when I met up with old mate Mark Boyer at O Park.
Ooh,
you
hi,
know that
Mark.
joint, Mel?
Yep.
Of course, Mark would be well known to many listeners from his Rusty Compass website and his venue, Old Compass. He's back in Vietnam for a few weeks, so it was great to see him looking so well. And in fact, our chat inspired the second half of our episode today about the different types of travellers we're seeing here in Vietnam at the moment.
Ah, interesting. Well, I hope to see you, Mark, when you're back from your trip.
Yeah, I think he's up there in Hue. Make sure you try to pop into Old Compass Cafe if you get the chance. They usually do a great little lunch set.
Yeah.
And often in the evenings at weekends, there's some live music. If you're lucky, you might catch him. He's a muso himself.
Oh, yeah, he plays guitar.
Yeah, and keep an eye out for their awesome speaking series that attracts speakers from all over the world who often have extensive knowledge and experience of Vietnam in different fields.
Yeah, the Old Compass on Pasteur Street is definitely a great venue to catch thought-provoking and, dare I say, more intellectual, events around the city. Not sure if young TikTokers will find it stimulating as us.
Yep.
But hey, I won't completely start the slag fest right now. I'll wait for the next segment.
Yep, fair enough. After catching up with Mark, I wandered over to new Aussie haunt Jackaroo. The Jackaroo Bar.
2 Aussies in one day.
Yeah, it was an Aussie fest, and it's near the west gate of Bentan Market.
Okay, so Westgate. All right, so that's near where you have the gold pawn shops and like the
there's a money changer there that's
food.
Always packed, and it's like the
halal street.
kind of street
okay.
there where you see a lot of Malaysian and Indonesian travellers there. Great little street. Not too sure if they're his target market there, young Jay who owns Jackaroo, but boy, isn't that area coming along. The hoardings have been taken down, and at the moment it's this wide expanse of tarmac. I'm talking out the front of Bentan Market.
Yep.
It's kind of ugly.
Yeah.
I did a post on it. But
the building across it is ugly.
But I imagine the roundabout will go back in after the underground metro station gets done and the train gets finished in about 2070.
I wonder if they're gonna bring back, Uncle Ho's statue.
I don't think he was there, was he? I don't think it was him.
Was it Uncle Ho or was it like a horse?
Yeah, I'm not too sure who it was.
Wow.
So actually, if you know, we probably should know that.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you know, let us know. Anyway, I love Jackaroo. It's a great location, friendly staff. Shout out to Jay and the crew there. So hello, guys. Keep up the great work. We'll be back for sure.
Yeah, I'll definitely pop up and have a drink there after buying that designer luggage from the street
Yeah, that's
downstairs.
right, down below. Good spot to buy some knockoffs. Then on Sunday evening, we went over to District 2 and we had dinner at Clay.
Yeah, the place is really nice. That's actually our second time to go there.
Yep.
But if I just make, one comment. Our table, where we actually also sat the previous time, it was a bit wonky and wobbly.
I think I was leaning on it.
No, look, it's not a good look for a restaurant partly owned by a furniture company. So look, I'm just saying.
Yeah, fair enough. Good call. Yeah. Then I went to Yakiniku Yazawa on Monday night as a guest of our friend of the potty, Chris Thompson.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, he was as gentlemanly as ever, clad in his usual clobber of blazer and chinos, looking very smart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's what we come to expect from Chris.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was an excellent evening at a restaurant that's on the world's 50 best restaurants watch list. So not the Asia 50, the world's 50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so pretty big deal.
What's up with Chris in Japanese restaurants lately, huh?
Yeah, he's got a bit of a thing going on there, a bit of a Japanese fetish.
No,
by
but
the looks of it.
I just have like this question in my head, like, is there a big push for, Japanese restaurants in general in Vietnam? And, I'm just wondering, how does the 50 best restaurant thing work anyways? Like, I thought that being in Vietnam, the representation should be about Vietnamese cuisine.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be one we'll get Chris to answer. We'll have to get him on the potty at some stage in the coming weeks. And then, of course, on Wednesday evening, I went to the Vietcetera press event to launch Flavors Vietnam 2023. So it was a busy week. Yeah, it was yummy, actually. Peter Gung Franklin of Anang, Saigon, he did the meals.
Is it Peter Gung Franklin or Peter Franklin
Well, I'm not
Gung?
sure. Yeah, it might be Peter Franklin Gung these days. I'm not too sure. Anyway, Mel, we've got another whopper of an episode. We'd best get into it. A couple of weeks back, we thought we'd pop over to Thailand for a short break. After all, it's just a short flight over to Suvarnabhumi, Mel Airport, on the outskirts of Bangkok. Just long enough to be served up a dry ham and cheese sanger with a lukewarm, not Luke Wynn, Mel, cup of coffee, and to hear the life story of a divorced doctor from the UK who's clearly still hating on her ex-husband a decade on from what was most likely a very messy settlement.
of Karen talking.
I also recall at one point as we were passing through turbulence and rain on approach, the passenger next to her reassured her that if we go down, we won't feel a thing and not to worry about it. I'm not too sure what going down he meant, but
I think this is when I started vomiting, like literally.
So anyway, yes, it was a tricky flight for me. Anyway, I'm not too sure how he knows that everything would be okay if we did actually go down. Nevertheless, she still let out a short, high-pitched scream when the wheels slammed onto the tarmac. Anyway, initially we toyed with the idea of popping across the border into Cambodia instead and then taking a ferry from Sihanoukville on the Gulf of Thailand to the small island of Koh Rong. I'd heard a lot about it, seen a lot of good things about it, but in the end we decided there were too many moving parts to fall into place for such a short trip to go well. And I couldn't find any decent videos about the food over there.
The beach looked good in the vloggers' videos, but there was no food info.
So we went for the safer option. A flight to Bangkok and then a car and driver took us about 3 hours southeast of Bangkok to the small beachside town of Lam Mai Pim.
Silent H. Silent H.
After it was recommended to us by our friend and avid listener of the potty, Steve Black, who actually lived in Thailand for a while, I think.
Hey, Steve.
So, Mel, in an effort to keep this segment somewhat on the rails, I've decided to structure it with topics and we'll give each one a couple of minutes.
Sure.
So the topics are transport, accommodation, food, places, overall observations. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Let's get into it.
Okay, the first cab off the ranks, so to speak, is transport. How was it for you overall, given that we had just 4 nights in the land of smiles and wanted to waste as little time as possible going from door to door?
Can we call it the land of silence? Because I did not hear any honking or tooting from transport vehicles, except, of course, for, the old school train down Payatai station where we were staying.
In Bangkok.
Bangkok, but overall, it was so quiet.
I know, I couldn't get over it. The traffic, actually, that nearly cleaned us up when we crossed at the line there. After the locals said, you can cross over, no worries, don't worry about that. And then the lights changed and around the corner came all this traffic.
It was no pedestrian crossing,
I thought
apparently.
we were gone at that point and there was a train line to the left and oncoming traffic to the right. But, we've been living in Vietnam for a long time.
So we were used to it.
Water off a duck's back.
But, that was a rush. But I think, at the start of any trip, watching a flight safety video can help you prepare for anything that can happen. Except though this Vietnam Airlines flight, I felt like there was too much artistic interpretation.
Do you mean the safety video that came down?
I mean, the flight attendants, they no longer stand on the aisle and you do a physical demonstration. The TVs, like the little monitors, they come down like in front of you and then they play a video. I just thought it was over the top.
Yeah, it's always a concern when the safety video actually features fire and water in their demos. They're the last things you want to see when the engines spool up before takeoff, aren't they?
There was just too much dancing and prancing and a lot of cultural misappropriations, I thought. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so we flew Vietnam Airlines and there's been a lot of speculation about it over the past 12 months or so, even suggesting they may fold.
Oh, no.
Just 6 months ago, it was reported in the news that it was something like $1.5 billion US dollars down the tube.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure how they're traveling now, but I guess like a bagpacker from Pham Nhu Lao, they're still asking for money.
Oh.
Anyway, what were your thoughts overall and how trustworthy are those sick bags?
Yeah, look, I had to open a second vomit bag because the first one tore up from the extreme pressure on my list.
The extreme pressure.
What
were you using it for?
I don't know. I'm not a good traveler, air traveler.
Yeah.
Turbulence is not my friend. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the Karen at the back who was talking about stuff didn't help it.
Hope she's listening. And look, I noticed there's a lot of time, money and ink wasted on those in-flight mags on reviewing destinations and resorts
And
all that sort of fashion. You know, why not spend that money on reviewing sick bags, for example, and other little things on the plane that bug you? Okay, let's move on to our digs. We stayed at a little dumpy kind of place on Beach Road, I think it's called, and it's called the Toy Art Resort.
Run by the Toy Art Group. They also had a group.
Oh, yeah, they
tour.
have a group. Yeah,
like
that's right.
Yeah.
Now, calling it a resort might be a stretch. Perhaps trailer park would be more apt, except I was the only white trash there.
Yeah, not a lot of farangs in this trip.
No.
My 2 cents of it would be it's a container park.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, but made with wood, not metal, you know. But although we did get to move to a better container block near the pool, because we were like booked at that really, really far end, like near the
that's
road.
right.
And
Yeah.
I kind of felt funny about it. It was far from security.
It was like they were trying to fill it from the outside in,
Yeah,
which kind of made sense leading up to the
True.
weekend, I suppose.
Yeah, but we did get to move to one of those little huts that they had. So that was cute. Yeah. And
Was that
again,
different price just before?
No, it was the same.
Same price. How much
Yeah.
was it about per night? $30?
Yeah,
I kept
about-
thinking about $30.
Yeah, about 30. And like the transport, the people in the resort, they were so quiet.
Yeah, was really quiet.
So, ergo, more local tourists than foreign
Yeah,
tourists.
so I guess the moral of the story is don't judge a container block by its wonky sliding doors and in-house mozzies. I'd stay there again, although the pool looked as though it was about to implode with each plunge.
It looked so 80s too, right?
Well, I think it was put in the 80s. It looked very much like that.
Next time I want to try booking the Poem Hotel down the road.
Yep.
The prices on Agoda seem reasonable on a weekday. It has a rooftop pool. It has okay coffee. They also serve breakfast. This Toy Art Resort didn't include breakfast. Yeah.
I want to know. Okay, so did you check that out on TripAdvisor? The Poem Hotel?
No, Agoda.
So how do you know on Agoda? Yeah. How do you know how nice it was?
Because we went in the room. We asked to go.
I think it was. I think the true story was.
Okay,
that
what?
You saw the container park that we were staying in.
Yeah.
And you were like,
I had to fit the entire
I'm not sure we can stay there. But being the flash packer that you are, I understand that you would go for the Poem Hotel next time. So
well. Yeah, I mean, look, being a flash packer does has its benefits. Plus, find happy hour specials at 5-star resort hotels.
Yeah.
So even if you don't stay at the resort hotel, you can just rock up at happy hour and then you don't overstay your welcome and you get to relax.
Was it the Mercure down the road?
Yes,
so they had that. Yeah, so go pretty budget on your stay and then suss out the 5-star down on the beach, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Now, being a flash packer, Mel, can I expect to see you on the corner of Haibat-Jung and Les Wan with a piece of cardboard hoping to fund your next trip with handouts from the locals?
That's a tough question. Let's see.
You're not going to say no.
No,
just
of course
watch this
not.
space.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I can always go in disguise.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
And
I can wear a
as
white
what?
face.
As what? And to finish off our trip, we also had one night in Bangkok, which reminds me, I had planned a little game with you that it would have required us to see who could actually remember
the lyrics
to that song because I only know a few of them.
One night in Bangkok.
Oriental City. Yeah. It's a show within a show.
No,
That's about all I
can't.
know.
That's me.
I know the singer was Murray Head, which is an interesting surname. Now, along with the beach, this was what I was really keen to get stuck into. I've always loved Thai food, but I've got to say, it fell a bit flat this time, Mel.
Oh, this is going to cause some ruckus with our friends who are Farangs in Thailand. But yeah, I agree. This trip, it lacked spice.
Yeah, I think what happens is they see a whitey falang like me a mile off walking down the beach and they think, okay, this sucker can't take the heat. And they wind up serving this mild, overly sweet dish that doesn't work, especially, say, pad thai.
Yeah.
It just becomes a bit of a gluggy mess with little flavour. A little bit disappointing.
And it wasn't even like palm sugar. It was the white refined sugar. That's why it was a bit crunchy as well. You could taste there was sugar.
Spoonfuls of it. Yeah, interesting. I knew they used a lot of sugar, but it might have been the location, the fact that we're in a touristy town.
But when we did go back to Bangkok, another thing that surprised me was the lack of open fire and sidewalk seating at street food kiosks.
Yep.
But look, maybe I'm misremembering my experience in Thailand because when was the last time I was there?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
It's a long time ago.
Yep.
And maybe I'm just thinking of how it is done here in Saigon.
Yep.
But yeah, I noticed there were more sellers hawking pre-packed rice and fried stuff already in plastic containers.
Yep.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love Thai fried stuff with rice in any form or shape. But the only street food I bought that I actually enjoyed were those, colored rice cakes and the ones wrapped in banana leaves.
Yep. Saigon's smashing Bangkok in terms of street food.
Yeah.
I actually posed the question on Tim Newton today, a channel by an Aussie who lives in Phuket, and he mentioned that there was a push a number of years back to literally push street food vendors off the street, which had the effect of moving them or shutting them down completely.
Okay. That makes sense.
But on the upside, it's worked. It's worked well from a cleanliness perspective because the streets and alleyways, they were super clean. I couldn't get over it. And I didn't smell one turd for the entire week.
Except at the hotel.
Moving on. What do you reckon?
So, after that brief experience, I was thinking, how does one define the Michelin street food recognition correctly then? What's it called, like a bib or a spoon? Because I know Thailand is a couple of them.
Yeah, good you raised this about Michelin. I have no idea how they give stars out to street food. Technically, I'd say J-Fi. She's got a star.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's actually street food.
It's not on the street.
She's got a shop.
Yeah.
She's got a shop there.
Yeah.
And which brings me to Vietnam. How are they going to judge it in Vietnam? And how are they going to actually find worthy awardees here when there are so many and there's so much good food and everyone has a different recommendation?
Yep.
Nevertheless, we learned a hard lesson about all these reviews online. I dragged you along to a Mark Wiens endorsed so-called epicenter of best street food in Bangkok, and it was a huge fail.
And I will never let you forget it.
We didn't have to walk too far, to be honest.
No. But yeah, you were so excited to hear about Soy 5, right?
Yeah, it's
and
Petch.
I was...
it's shortened to Petch. The locals call it Petch.
So I was tired and I didn't really want to train it to Sukhumvit, so I was just happy to walk around Ratatouille to find it. But I thought that it was more an Indian, Turkish, Syrian,
There's a mosque there.
halal food street than a Thai food street, But there was that restaurant with a big lobster thing that apparently
it's a must visit apparently. But I wasn't looking for that. I wasn't looking for a sort of a bricks and mortar place. I wanted sort of street food stuff like what we see here. But
well, there you go. Lesson. Don't believe everything you hear from vloggers, especially if the video is more than a year old.
And podcasts. Don't get me started. Okay, so next one is places of interest, Mel. And I've got a short list here. I'll quickly run through them and then we can have a quick chat. Mai Pim and Ao Kai Beach. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. The other one is the walk along from Mai Pim Beach and Ao Kai is excellent, isn't it?
Yeah.
We did that a couple of times at least. And then once you go a little bit further, you keep following the water around, you'll find this beautiful little place.
It's near
almost
the
like
mangroves.
a B&B. Yeah, it's in the mangroves. Yep. I featured it on some reels or one reel. I've done one reel so far. There's another one, so look out for that. It's called Mango Tree Coffee and Resort.
Lovely.
And we just I saw it on the map. And I just thought, okay, well, the distance.
It's a coffee shop.
So it seems close enough. Yeah, there's some kind of coffee shop there. Let's check it out. And turns out it's a little sort of a
B&B.
They call it a resort, but it looks more like a a B&B, and it's over the water. There's a small community that lives over the mangroves there.
So it looks like a traditional Thai house built on stilts. So there's about 3 bedrooms that you can rent, and it really looks very calm.
I think about $30 as well, they said.
Yep.
And there's a small
Canteen.
Yeah, that's the word for it. There's a canteen sort of 3/4 of the way along the little walkway there.
Yeah.
So you can order your food there. So local food, a little bit of Western food too maybe.
Yeah.
But at the end of the jetty, there's a little spot there that's shaded and you can just chill out. Anyway, if you check out the Bureau Asia's Instagram Reels, you'll see it there. Anywhere else, Mel?
Well, I really wanted to see the statue of the famous royal poet Sunthorn Poo. So he is, he's a very famous royal poet, and apparently he has like a statue in a memorial park actually near the hillside of Rayong. So it was like maybe like less than 10 kilometers from where we were, but we just didn't have time nor the transport means to get there. Like there's no Grab. And the tuk-tuks, there weren't like public tuk-tuks. You had to rent a tuk-tuk.
Yeah, we could have rented one with the, what do you call it? The sidecar thing on there. But
the wait...
we weren't there to do that.
No, but yeah. So I wanted to see that because apparently characters from his literary works had little statues, including, let me see if I can pronounce this correctly, Prince Apai Mani. The ocean butterfly, and the mermaid, which featured very prominently in that hotel that I wanted to stay at, the
and
Poem
also,
Hotel.
There was a place where we ate one night and they had a mural on the wall.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there was also a
that.
seafood place there. Yeah. Maybe next time.
Okay, Mel. So last one on the list, overall observations about our short trip to Thailand.
Okay.
Let me go first. Bangkok. It's quiet and clean. I couldn't get over it. I think that was the highlight. We were only there for, just 24 hours.
Yeah. Yep.
But as soon as we got out of the hotel, I think we went for a swim.
Yeah.
And then got out of the hotel and then went for a walk. I just couldn't get over how clean it was.
Although it was a Saturday morning, so maybe people were back home, not in the city, but it didn't amp up. Even in the evening time.
Yeah, well, I think Pattaya is a bit more of a CBD type area.
True, yeah.
Obviously, it's not Sukhumvit Road. It's not the touristy areas like, Khao San Road and places like that, Chinatown. So, good if you want a quiet stay. I was just amazed, So it became obvious to me then that, especially with our street food that we had, that you can't really have one and the other. You can't have both. You can't have
a vibrant
street
food, city life, and
clean streets.
You can't.
You can't. Just look at Saigon. Saigon clearly has this amazing street food scene in just about every street and alleyway in the city. But let's face it, it's pretty damn grubby and it stinks.
It's going to stink.
So what do you want, And clearly the officials, the authorities in Bangkok have said, we want clean. And, well, they've got it. I was really surprised. How many people live in Bangkok? Is it 10 mil or something? Something like that. The other thing that I liked was we had really good interactions with the Thais when we did. Yep. I mean, as a tourist, you tend not to interact more than you really need to, it's kind of a bit odd to just sort of walk up.
Although the banana roti guy, I think, overcharged us.
Yeah, but that was good. Yeah, that was good. That video is also on the Instagram page as well. The flight to and from Bangkok
was easy.
Easy. Vietnam Airlines, they cop a bit of flack.
But they're okay.
But they were on time. The cheese and ham sandwich,
didn't have mayonnaise.
Yeah. We got a good car service as well from Suvarnabhumi Airport to Rayong and back. And I don't know, if you're thinking about doing a trip like this and you need a car service between the airport
Pattaya,
and say Pattaya, and where we went.
Maythim or Hua Hin.
Get in touch. Our good friend Steve recommended that, and it went really well.
Mr. Pong, thank you.
Yeah, you're probably gonna pay a little bit. It was a little bit pricey, I suppose, about 60 or 70 bucks as opposed to a bus. So I guess the question is, Mel, will you be back?
Yep.
And it's a question that's plagued Vietnam tourism for many years. Not many travellers want to come back here.
Yeah.
Would you return to where we went?
Yeah, but, maybe do our own research on where to stay and not rely too much on social media and recommendations from that cheap bastard Steve.
Well, he's definitely a great source for cheap rates. Mel, as you know, Coracle Music Festival is next weekend in Mui Ne, about a 3 or 4 hour drive east of here on the beach. It's a lovely part of the world. You can also catch the train to Phan Thiet Station from Saigon and then grab a taxi into Mui Ne about 20 minutes away. We went last year for a few days and stayed at Cargo Remote and Sailing Club, both great places to stay.
I love me a good beach music fest, man.
Now, the Bureau Asia is helping the organisers of Coracle Music Festival out, and we've got hold of 5 tickets to the 3-day event we're going to give away this week. I came up with the bright idea to do a small segment on the festival in this episode as a way to create some engagement, hype, whatever. Also in the hope that it would increase the likelihood of genuine Bureau fans winning a ticket.
Woohoo!
Sometimes I give these things away to winners who've never heard of us, which is fine, but I'd love to see more legit Bureau fans win some stuff from us occasionally.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is come up with a quiz question now for listeners to answer, and then they need to go to our website, thebureauasia.com, find the article from this week called How to Win Your Free Ticket to Coracle Music Festival 2023, scroll to the comments section and submit their answer to our question.
Easy.
Yeah. Then we'll randomly draw 5 names from some AI-generated computer programming thingy, and they'll be our winners. What could go wrong? Then we'll get in touch with the winners over the next couple of days to explain how they can pick up their ticks.
Well, you know what could go wrong? The AI could win the ticket.
Yeah, it could do too. Yeah, luckily we're not going to do something like in 25 words or less. Okay, so while we think of a question, let's listen to an advertisement I created for it. I promised you that I'd do something. Do you want to hear it?
Oh my God, did you put on the movie trailer for In This Summer Voice?
Well, let's listen and find out.
Oh, love it. Okay.
Summer has finally hit our shores with Vietnam's biggest and best music festival since the pandemic. Brought to you by the good guys at Heart of Darkness Brewery. Coracle Music Festival returns to the beach this March 10, 11 and 12 at its new home, White Sand Resort.
Oh my gosh.
With
you even have auto-tune.
acts across 2 pulsating stages, including renowned French beatmaker Onra, US garage rock icons Black Lips, and Ibiza whiz D. Montero. With Saigon favourites Hem Hem Ska Band, Skeleton Good, and others. Set to cast beach breaks all weekend long. Ticket packages available online at www.dreamspass.vn. In person at Indica, Brick and Barrel, Union Jacks, Soma, and Cargo Remote. Or try your luck to win a free ticket thanks to us at the Bureau Asia by staying tuned to this episode to find out how to win. The Bureau Asia takes no responsibility for drunken stupidity, lost iPhone, sunburn, dehydration, hangovers, or bad food. No terms and conditions apply. Just have fun.
That's like a lot of disclaimers that we're not taking responsibilities for.
Did you get all those?
Yeah.
How about that then? Make you want to go?
Yeah, grab your sunblock, Mui Ne, here we come.
Okay, so you were listening pretty intently, but did you come up with a possible quiz question for our listeners to answer in order to go in the running to win one of the 5 tickets we have, which, by the way, are valued at around 1.6 million dong. That's about $70.
Wait, quick question. Does the draw come with transport and accommodations?
No, just entry ticks or 1 tick per person.
Okay.
Winners need to find their own transport and accommodation.
Wait. 1 tips per person. So if I win, I can't bring my partner.
Not for free.
Okay. So they have to join as well.
They have to pay.
Okay, great.
Unless somehow, luckily, a couple
both
win 2 tickets or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So, the first question that came to mind that we could ask listeners is, how many beers is the trip from Saigon to Mui Ne?
Wait, craft beer or normal beer?
I've only done the normal beer bit. I've never done it with craft beer. But, I thought that's probably not appropriate these days to highlight binge drinking, even though the event is sponsored by a brewery. So the next one I came up with was, how much is the bribe if you get caught by the police riding a motorbike without a license to the sand dunes?
Okay. Is there CCTV camera or just a mobile phone camera to record the data?
Again, I thought that mightn't be appropriate. Of course, it was a slip of the tongue there, Mel. I meant to say fine.
Okay.
So I came up with what fruit is Mui Ne and the surrounding area famous for? Kind of boring, but it shouldn't get us in trouble.
Ooh, I know the answer to that, but wait. Will you accept correct answers with the English name, Vietnamese name, Spanish, or the scientific name, which, by the way, I know. It's Selanicarius unandanthus.
Okay, based on that, let's go with the common English word for it, eh?
All right.
Okay,
Agreed.
so if you want to go in the running to win one of these awesome tickets to the Coracle Music Festival this coming March 10, 11 and 12, just go to thebureauasia.com. Find the article on the homepage, how to win your free ticket to Coracle Music Festival 2023. It's pretty easy to find. It's on the homepage. And drop your answer in the comments section at the bottom, and then we'll get in contact with you if you're a lucky winner and tell you how to pick up your ticket.
Woo! Good luck, Bureau fans.
Okay, so here's the question again, Mel. Would you like to do the honours?
My pleasure.
Can I hand it over? Okay, away you go.
So the question you need to answer is, what fruit is Mui Ne and the surrounding area famous for?
Okay, so there you have it. Be sure to answer by 6 p.m. Monday, March 6th, and then we'll notify the 5 winners the following day on Tuesday, March 7th. Good luck. I'd planned to finish this episode with a segment on backpackers, as again they've raised the ire of the online community here in Vietnam, but alas, we're out of time this episode. So I think we'll make it the topic of the next episode and perhaps call in an expert to get their take on it. What do you think?
We're going to interview a backpacker in Pham Lao?
Backpacker, probably. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll try. That's an amazing idea.
I'll take a couple of bucks in cash. Surely that will be enough.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a good idea. Calling all the Bureau podcast listeners. Drop us a line. Tell us what you think about backpackers in the city. Give us your honest opinion so we're not the only ones who bangs the gong all the time. Although that is the purpose of our show, right?
I don't really know what the purpose of this show is, to be honest. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like, share and comment. And feel free to ask any questions related to Vietnam and the region on the Bureau Asia's social media channels at the Bureau Asia, and I'll do my best to answer them. Mel, as usual, thanks for joining me again. Any last words of advice for festival goers next weekend?
Stay hydrated, wear sunblock, and clean the beach as you go.
Wow, so responsible.
Yeah.
My advice would be don't get stuck walking the strip at high noon in your thongs looking for something to eat.
Is that the Mui Ne version of the Walk of Shame?
Oh, that just makes it even worse. So that's it for this episode. Don't forget to send in your comments and questions before our next episode so we can comment and answer. It should make for some great listening.
Can we listen to the ad again?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Until then, take care and stay safe. This is Matt Cowan. Enjoy your week wherever you are. Summer has finally hit our shores with Vietnam's biggest and best music festival since the pandemic. Brought to you by the good guys at Heart of Darkness Brewery, Coracle Music Festival returns to the beach this March 10, 11 and 12 at its new home, White Sand Resort Mui Ne, with international and local acts across 2 pulsating stages, including renowned French beatmaker Onra, US garage rock icons Black Lips, and Ibiza whiz D Montero, with Saigon favourites Hem Hem Ska Band, Skeleton Good, and others, set to cast beach breaks all weekend long. Ticket packages available online at www.dreamspass.vn, in person at Indica, Brick and Barrel, Union Jacks, Soma, and Cargo Remote. Or try your luck to win a free ticket thanks to us at the Bureau Asia by staying tuned to this episode to find out how to win. The Bureau Asia takes no responsibility for drunken stupidity, lost iPhone, sunburn, dehydration, hangovers, or bad food. No terms and conditions apply. Just have fun.